The Supreme Court on Thursday granted leave to the federal government to bring 9 new grounds of appeal against the release of the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The ruling was given by a 5-member panel. The Apex Court also granted leave to the federal government to include these 9 new grounds as part of its amended notice of appeal dated 28 October 2022. During the resumed hearing, Michael Zokome, counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, informed the court of his motion seeking for bail for his client and another seeking for his transfer to the Kuje Correctional Facility to get proper medical attention, citing his failing health in the custody of the Department of State Services.
Everything, as all the delays, both at the Federal High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, have always been actuated and activated and propelled and instigated by the federal government, because they never wanted Nnamdi Kanu to be tried. They never wanted the appeals to be heard. They are satisfied with simply keeping Nnamdi Kanu perpetually in the gulag. That's what they have been doing. And to buttress what I'm saying, only last night, yesterday, one at 2:39 p.m. and last night at 6:25 p.m., they served us further documents, further court processes, which have again necessitating us today taking an adjournment. But in order not to fall into their cheap trap and to escape their cheap entrampment, what we have done today is to say all those funny and phony motions you are be filing, we want extension of time.
Well, in another development, the indigenous peoples of Biafra have criticized President Muhammadu Buhari over his recent comments on the remission, asking Nigerians to forgive him in any way he has wronged them, while reacting to the statement issued on Wednesday. Emma Powerful, the spokesperson for IPOB, says Buhari's sins are unforgivable.
It's a very terrible regime held by Buhari will be living, according to him. And he was apologizing last week for the crimes he committed against Nigerian people. My response is that his crimes are beyond apology. He must pay for them. And this is what I've always said since I came back to Nigeria.
The indigenous group of Biafra alleged that many IPOB members have been killed under Buhari's administration, while over 2,523 innocent citizens in the southeast have been illegally detained, further asking the president to release the leader of their group, Nnamdi Kanu. Well, I mean, this is the situation right now with Nnamdi Kanu, Rufai. I mean, I thought that, what can we say about detention and the DSS?
Okay, 2 parts to it. Number 1, I do not support people inciting violence in the country. But when you go back and look at all of this agitation, it starts by the marginalization of the Igbos. And we can't deny that fact. We had another taste of it during the elections in Lagos. But I do not support Nnamdi Kanu, while he was away, while John Bail, inciting violence. But secondly, for you to build a country, there must be rule of law. The court, the appeal court, has said, let this man be. But you violated the appeal court. And when President Buhari says, forgive me all my sins, but he's violated the courts. Like somebody asked this morning, at least he must be able to even tell us what are his sins in the first place before he tells us to forgive him. One of them will be violating court order. Remember how even the Supreme Court kicked against him.
Absolutely.
And violated court order. Now the federal government has detained him because they want to press more charges. Yes, you want to press more charges, but at least did you respect the same courts that you're going to press more charges for?
It won't be correct to say the president violated the courts. The court ruled in October 2022 that the terrorism charge should be struck out, that also the extradition was illegal. But what the federal government did was that the federal government went straight to the Court of Appeal, to the Supreme Court, where they filed a stay of execution and also filed an application to amend the charges. So the federal government followed the process. But this is a very sensitive matter. It's also very political.
Absolutely.
Now that the matter is before the Supreme Court, which is the Apex Court, the latest development is that, the amended charges will now be allowed by the court.
Yes.
However, Michael Zekome, SAN, is insisting that his client should be granted bail and that he should also be moved from where he is to the Kuje Correctional Facility where he can get better care.
The health.
Those are the two issues.
Yeah, those are the issues, correct. Well, thank you all for your great analysis on what's trending, and you all have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have for you on what's trending today. I'll see